What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? Just bringing it in. Just bringing it in. I was playing around with the screen share, trying to see how it shows up on a regular screen besides my screen. So longer intro, just testing stuff out. If I can't work this console, I ain't gonna be able to work the next level. So I got to make sure this is right. But it is Sunday service. Anybody that's going to check this out, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, let me actually go ahead and give Haps a link so we're not going directly through them, but we are going to be there. Let's see. We are... Go. Put that in there live now. Hopefully your Sunday is going good. Any part of the country now, I would think that it's warm. Because right now they say it's like 88 and feels like 94 outside. I haven't been outside in a couple hours, so that's probably happening right now. And when I do go back out there, I think I'll need to be dressed a little bit differently than I was dressed on the way in. I had sweats on the way in. So I better put some shorts on before I go out so I don't combust. But I had to get on here today and talk a little bit about beating the odds and why it's odd to beat the odds, because it is odd. It's odd for some to beat the odds. And I don't know how that's going to change other than us just continuing to beat them, and then it becomes normal, or there aren't any odds. I don't think anybody questions why there are odds. There's a component to this that I'm going to work towards. But when I think of beating the odds, I don't just think of betting. I don't just think of, oh, he made it out of the projects, or, he survived, drug addiction, or he survived food addiction. Those aren't the kind of odds that I'm really talking about. I'm talking about like literally overcoming when there was no foreseeable chance, option, nothing. And you beat the odds. You really actually destroyed the odds then. I know a lot of people look at beating the odds when they bet. There's a lot of people that they gamble and they consider beating the odds. They consider that they're winning. I'm not a big gambler, so I'm always one of those people who like, how much did you have to lose before you won? And then you kind of calculate from there. So I'm a negative motherfucker when it comes to a lot of people out here gambling, because I know most of them don't have it. Most people who gamble out here don't have the money to gamble, but they're gambling and they're doing what they're doing, and it is going to be what it's going to be. I'm not here to tell anybody not to do something, because it's their money. They earn it however they get it, and they lose it however they lose it. If they win, I'm happy for them. But when they lose, it just kind of comes back to, did you really have to go there? And I foresee a lot of this online sports betting, a lot of this gambling that's going on, where you got it at your fingertips. At least you had to go somewhere. If you had to go to a gambling house, you had to go to a casino. Now it's right at your fingertips. And I don't know, truthfully, if some people can really deal with that. Some people, that's a lot of power to have when you're talking about being able to place a bet pretty much anytime, and if you got a little bit of money in your account, you can place that bet. Try to double that money you got in your account, or, just maybe add a couple $100 to it. It's an addiction. When you've connected it to your personal checking and savings account, and you dip and dip and dip, and you start to fuck your bills up, you start to fuck your whole infrastructure up. That's an addiction. Just like anybody on narcotics, just like anybody on alcohol, just like anybody on food, just like anybody on whatever. An addiction is an addiction is an addiction. And you are not beating the odds when you do win, because you done lost way more. And then when you come up, you're like, whoa, I did something. Like, well, yeah, you lost 15,000 to win 10. So you still 5 in the hole. But that's why most people don't tell me about when they win. So, but yeah, beating the odds has become an oddity for us. And I was inspired. I don't get inspired a lot by athletes anymore, just because of where athletics have gone. We used to have sports heroes, and we had all types of, people that we wanted to be like in the world of sports. And there's just not a lot of those people anymore. And obviously I'm 51, so I don't need to try to be like an athlete. But I was inspired yesterday by watching a brother, Edrin James, accept his Pro Football Hall of Fame bust and gold jacket. I was inspired because, I always felt like he played the game the right way. I always felt like, he went about his business, did what he was supposed to do, lived his life, lived a clean life. But he was the object of negativity his whole career, just based on the way he looked. He had to go fronts, he had the dreads, and he didn't really fly to the beat of anybody's drum but his own. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that shit, And Edrin beat the odds. He beat the odds. And when he beat the odds, that should have been saluted. And I'm sure it was in his circle and things like that. But that should have became a normalcy thing, for some reason. And I just don't know the reason why. I've never really dug into it, why people are so captivated with black people's hair. I just don't know why. I don't know why that they don't want us to have it, or when we have it, they want to touch it, or they want to critique it. They this, that, and the other one. When white people let their hair grow down their back, you know, I mean, and do that hippie style shit, don't nobody say nothing to them. Don't nobody say, oh, you can't get a job here if your hair looks like that. You know, don't nobody say you got to cut that to be able to work here. It's always been black people. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if that's some biblical shit that they really believe that your strength is in your hair and all that shit. I don't know. I don't know. But it's always been that way. We've always had issues with people who are not like us or don't look like us and our hair. It don't bother us. Our hair doesn't bother us from one man to the next. I personally, like I said, I don't like none of that new nappy shit. I don't like it when it doesn't look like you didn't comb your hair. And I know that that's kind of the style, you know, and I really don't know what it's called, but, you know, I call it unkept. But at least have it lined up and trimmed up and faded up, you know, and then we know that that's what your goal is. But if you just look like you just took your hat off and shit, that ain't no style to me. That's bummy and shit. So, yeah, Edrin James accepted his Hall of Fame gold jacket last night. I think it was last night. Yeah, it was last night. And then I watched part of the ceremony, and they had to go back and watch his acceptance, and it got me. It got me, you know. And I don't want to play the whole video. I really just want to play the end, because what took me back was the fact that this young man did what he needed to do and just let everything play out in front of him, let everything be said about him, let everything be done about him. And he never wavered, you know. And he played in one of the most racist places. He played in Indianapolis. Indianapolis ain't no easy place for a black man to play. You know, I've always saluted Edrin James and Reggie Miller and anybody. Shit, Tony Dungy was a coach, right? Wasn't he a coach, I think? You got to be a strong black man to be able to work in Indianapolis. I mean, you know, they can like you. They can like you and call you nigga in Indianapolis, literally, you know. And I know it's not fucked up in all the spaces, but yeah, it's one of those towns, Indianapolis, Boston. There's some areas where they can really fucking love you and they'll still call you nigga. It don't matter. So where I am right now, I just want to just play this clip, because beating the odds has become so odd, especially to the young generation. The young generation they just hear, man. I'm looking at a lot of 25, 27, 29-year-olds that have absolutely no fucking clue. And nobody's talking to them. So I know what's going to happen to them. You know, they're going to end up rolling themselves right into some type of system, whether it be the penal system, you know, whether it be the system of addiction and be fucked up there, you know, the system of being unemployed. They're going to roll themselves, you know. I don't know has become the catchphrase again. I hated that phrase growing up. I hated it raising my children. Don't tell me you don't know some shit. I see you fucking with a smartphone. I know you know. If you don't know, Google it, because you literally know something. If you got a smartphone in your hand, you always got the information at your palm. You might not want to look into it, but it is what it is. What's happening, Free? I am male Israelite. How you doing today? One love. You catching me from Haps? You catching me from Haps from the UK chat room? I appreciate you. Or you catch me right on YouTube. Either way, I hadn't seen you in the chat before, and most people don't call me Brother Shannon here, but I appreciate you doing that, seeing that I do have it in my caption now. I guess that's where I'm going to be on both sides. I forgot I did add that to the caption. It did just say Shannon at one time. So, but yeah, I want to play this. And like I said, listening to this brother, I was inspired, you know, and he spoke the way he was supposed to speak, you know, And I felt like, okay, Edrin gets to the Hall of Fame. And I know he has done ridiculous shit where he's from. I've kind of followed him after his career. He was one of those guys who did a lot while he was playing. And then he's done a lot since he's retired. So, he's the one who rides for his hood. He's got the backing of his hood. So it was just really cool to see, because you knew that his people were there. But let me try to cue this up here. Stop this. Oh, you didn't see it on apps. Oh, no, it's free to do that. Okay. It's just, I just got a simulcast going on Haps, Frida. It's not me on Haps live with the green background. I just shared a link, so it'll just be in the feed if people want to pick it up. Okay. Yeah, but check this out. Just this was incredible the way he brought this, man. Hopefully you can hear it clear.
For some reason, I always had to deal with perception. Perception, though, isn't always reality. It definitely wasn't my reality. People looked at my gold teeth and dreads and were shocked and surprised I had never been under arrest or spent time in jail. So many people told me that you can't have dreads and gold teeth and be accepted in the NFL, but I never listened. I always knew who I was.
I think that's his mom.
A great football player, a great father, a proud black man, a lion, and this was my main. Which many of those doubters would later discover once they got to know the real me. Times have changed. Look around the league. Look at some of the young stars. As a matter of fact, look at my Pro Football Hall of Fame bust. Rocking the same dreads they said I shouldn't. My closing message proudly represent the real you. Follow your dreams, aim high, and create the life you want to live. And to all those who have been judged prematurely because of their appearance, the way they speak, where they come from, and in the minds of many should be locked up in prison, I represent us. I'm forever immortalized, locked up in the Candy Correctional Institution.
Thanks for watching ESPN.
And it's so crazy that they literally cut that off. So I'm kind of pissed off because I didn't proof that before. Let me get out this. Now I'm kind of pissed. Two different stations have cut the end of his speech off. And I don't know if you've heard that or not. I actually did a post about it. At the end of his speech, right after that, he says, I started my career with gold teeth and I ended it with a gold jacket. Now, I don't know why that's a problem, but the NFL obviously is not like that because everybody continues to cut it off. Everybody has cut the end of that speech off. I started with gold teeth and I end it with a gold jacket. For some reason, everybody's cutting it off. And that must have been the stream. I don't know. I guess maybe he does all of those voiceovers now, Stephen A. Smith. It wasn't on his particular show, whatever it was. Doesn't matter. But his speech was really deep. You could tell that, you know, not only has he done the right things, but he's been an example to other people. Obviously beating the odds, obviously did everything that he was supposed to do in life with his family. You ain't never heard no shit about this guy. You ain't never heard no shit about this guy. They absolutely cut it off, Free. And these are just the networks, because he literally said it. I heard it. That's why I got the quote, because I actually heard the speech. But then I went back and watched other videos, and now that's the third video today that I see that they've edited off the end. So maybe they don't like the fact that he's promoted, hey, I started with gold teeth, and he talked about his hair, because they want all these guys to be conformists. They want everybody. I mean, if they could have all these players not have any facial hair and have close cut knit afros or bald heads, whatever, they do that shit. I'm sure they would. That's just who they are. But one of the things that just struck me about the way he talked, you could just tell he beat some ridiculous ass odds to be where he was. And he overcame so much shit. So the thing was, for me, I'm like, yeah, I know it's fucked up out here, but I know that my situation growing up and people in this area situation growing up was nowhere near like what he had to deal with. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's from Miami. Let me double check that before I get to talking. Because if I'm not, I remember him talking to like people like Luke and all those guys. Luke's got kind of that feeder system down there. Adrian, I think he's from Miami. And he's from Amokalele. You know where that's at, Free? IMMOKEKALEE. Immokalee. So I don't know how far that is from Miami, but wherever it is, it's in Florida. And he went to the University of Miami. I knew that. But he overcame some ridiculous odds. And he did things that obviously 99% of the people out of Amokalele, Florida, have never done. Sorry, I've never pronounced that name of that city. So I just look at some of the things that he's done, and you down there. So if you've never heard of it, it must be small. I don't know how far it is from Miami or where it's at, but must be a small town. Some of the things that he had to overcome, you know, and I probably could dig into his background a little bit and just see. I mean, he came from some humble beginnings. So he definitely beat the odds. He definitely beat the odds. But why don't young people strive to beat odds anymore? Why? I mean, I'm just seeing so much of the same. And it's pretty much with anything now that you look at. These kids they're content with just being alike. Nobody really wants to step away. And I was talking to a friend from school. We hadn't really talked like in depth like that for 30 years. And he was asking me about like kids not playing sports and things like that. And I was like, you know, it's crazy. You can drive by the same fields that we played at, you know, and the same basketball courts that we played at. And they're either torn down. I mean, like basketball courts in our old neighborhoods, you know, they got tumbleweeds in them. You know, there's no basketball rims. There's no backboards. Baseball fields, you know, the infield is totally grass now. So, you know, they don't play any type of baseball on there because kids just aren't outside like that. And we talked a lot and we talked a lot about how we were on a couple teams together. We're on several teams together just growing up because we're in the same neighborhood. But we're on a couple teams together that we got slighted for a couple other players. And we were talked about that and like, well, always wondering like, why is this motherfucker playing in front of me? Why is this motherfucker Well, you know, we talked and laughed about it. And one of the things that we came up to on some real shit was the guys who played sometimes in front of us or who were competitive with us, as they put it, we were better than them. We just, you know, their dads were there. And this is some shit that I had to deal with yesterday, dealing with my grandson's T-ball team, finding out that the T-ball coach coaches 4 different teams because he's got 4 different sons and he coaches all their teams. So he controls when his kids play, no matter what. no matter how good they are, he controls it. So anyway, we just basically figured out, like, the ones who had their fathers there, like backing them up, helping the coach out, doing all that shit, those are the ones who, like, if they had marginal talent or they might have been halfway decent, they played more. They played more. And his grandmother sat with my mom and my grandmother every game for years. And they talked, they became friends, you know, they became friends, and they talked outside of sports a lot. But we didn't know that then, you know. I mean, my stepdad was at the game, but he was very, very laid back. He wasn't a forceful person at all. So he wasn't an in-your-face type person. But these other fathers who would be there for their kids, they were lobbyists. They were lobbyists for their kids because they knew their kid was against the odds. They knew that if they didn't push for their kid to be in the game, their kid probably wasn't going to beat the odds. Their kid was probably going to ride the oak, line up helmets, put bats up against the backstop, was not going to be a key player. But some kids played more. Some kids literally played more because they had that parental support out there. Like I said, we didn't know this as kids. We just figured we were being slighted for whatever. It wasn't for a lack of talent. It was just, you know, sometimes you didn't have that muscle. Because that's really what it is. I mean, you got that parental muscle behind you. You're doing some shit. You know, you are. So we didn't have that. And I'm in a situation now where beating the odds, and I feel like I've beaten the odds on a lot of different things, but I've not gotten to where I need to be, where I no longer have to be concerned about beating the odds. I think there's odds against me right now that I've got to overcome, that I've got to beat, you know, and it's not that, you know, they're life or death odds, but they're odds that if I don't stay on them, I won't beat them. I won't overcome them, conquer them, destroy them, however you want to look at it. I won't get there. So I've got to stay focused. For these youngins out here, I just want to see them want something. So many of them don't want anything. They just exist. You know, I want to be able to help create that within my grandchildren. I want to see them want to be better than they are. And they're pretty good right now. But, you know, they're only 2 and 5. So, you know, when they're 12 and 15, you know, I want to see them be better. You know, when they're 22 and 25, I want to see them be better. But the biggest thing is, I know that they're going to have odds that they're going to be against. So I need them to be able to beat the odds. I definitely need them to be able to beat the odds. If they don't beat the odds, they're going to be in the underbelly. You're on the underside of it. You've got to beat the odds. See, having odds for us is different than having odds and being someone else. When we have odds stacked against us, sometimes it's between whether you eat or don't eat. When other people have odds stacked against, they got a few obstacles they got to overcome. But when we have odds stacked against us, it's sometimes feast or famine. And more times than not, it's been famine. You know, the things that are going on right now in the States, I think we're embarking on some troubling times for people. I just do. You know, because resources are not being spread amongst all of the people. They're being given to some. They're being given to people who aren't even supposed to be here. But they're not necessarily being given to people whose bones are buried here, whose people's bones are buried here. They're not giving them to those people. So their back's up against the wall and they're fighting to beat the odds. It's crazy that when you beat the odds, when you leave another country, you beat the odds, you got away, and then you come here and you start succeeding just because this is just a better place than you fled from. When you wash up on the shores of America and you are just totally tired because you've been running and swimming and climbing and jumping or whatever to get across the border, you've actually beat the odds, because a lot of people don't make it. I guess they say a lot of people die trying to migrate here. I don't know what the numbers are, but I guess everybody that tries don't make it, and they die. And it ain't like somebody can take them back. So they probably just end up on the wayside. Who knows what happens to those carcasses? It's a crazy way to die. You're seeking your freedom, trying to get to another territory, and you die en route. And everybody has to carry on, or they'll get captured. You know, it's just really wild how that all takes place. But one of the things that I see now is that young people just don't want to beat the odds. And then when you talk to them, it's odd to them that you want them to beat the odds, or that that's even a possibility to beat the odds. And I'm like, damn, who's talking to these kids now? Who's talking to these kids to where they don't want to strive to be better? That's some crazy shit to me. You don't want to be better? I mean, we used to just talk about being the best. We always wanted to be the best. Now, you're trying to push a kid just to want to be better. Not even, it's almost like you put too much pressure on them if you say, you know, you got to be the best. And that's what we were told. You got to be the best if you want to be in here. You got to work twice as hard. Why do I have to work twice as hard? If this person only has to just work hard, but I've got to work twice as hard. We didn't know all the logistics of that. Now we know why we got to work twice as hard. They just told us to work twice as hard. Old people just told us to work twice as hard. There's very few of them out there, Free. There's I wouldn't say very few, but there's just, I'm coming across more that have that apathetic spirit than I would ever care to count. Some people I meet, and then there's some that I actually know who their people are, and I'm like, nobody's saying nothing to this kid. You got them out here just spinning, and within a couple years, they're grown, or even the ones that are grown. I can't stand to see a 23, 24, 25-year-old, no job, no car, no nothing, just waiting for that next scam, waiting for that next lick you can hit. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't really believe that there is anybody speaking to them. You've got to kind of go somewhere now. Like if you want to, mentoring, it just doesn't happen just out and about. I mean, hell, we got mentored in the co-op when we were kids. There was older kids, there was older people that just breathe, intelligence into us. People don't even talk like that anymore. You used to see like a older person standing talking, and there'd be a whole bunch of kids around him with their bikes pulled up like he's preaching or something, and they're the congregation. You'd see him, and it'd just be an older person. Sometimes it could be an older teenager. It might be someone in their 20s, 30s. Hell, it might be somebody in their 50s. But he had a captive audience of children, young folk, and he was just kicking it to them. That used to happen a lot in the co-op. That used to happen a lot over at my grandmother's house. We'd see older people because we were near the campus, and we'd see older people all the time. And you're captivated by somebody that's older than you, that's bigger than you. You're always captivated by that, and you talk to them and you learn from them. There was a brother. I don't even know what this brother did because I was so young. I don't know exactly what he did, what his profession was, but he lived directly across the street from my grandmother, and he always had fly cars. And he was legit. He was like University of Michigan something, but we didn't know what he did, but he came, he left every morning, in his car. Sometimes when we'd be out there, we'd be like, peel out. Every now and then he'd peel out, every now and then he had a little sports car. And then he ended up getting a woman and getting married and everything. He had a kid, and then he ended up he had to leave a sports car behind. I think he might have kept that sports car, but then he ended up getting like a family car, like a Volvo or something like that. But that was fly too, Yeah. it was just, one of those things, just to see how things have changed. I don't believe that there's mentoring programs that are out here, and there are people that talk to children and do really, really good things with children. Those are structured things. Once again, your kids got to be involved in that. I'm just talking about just ordinary situations. I think that's why my grandson likes getting his hair cut so much now. He talks to the barber, and the barber is literally like, they have these animated conversations, and I'm totally not in it. And my only job is just to make sure he stays still when he's cutting the thick part of his hair, so he don't end up with no jab, and because he's moved a couple times and had a hole in his fro. So I tell him, like, you get to that part, but they have these animated conversations, and it's a highlight of his haircut, and he asks him questions and he gets the answers that he needs to get, and it is what it is, and then I give him a little bit of backstory about what's happening, and I think that's why he spends a little bit more time with them and this, that, and the other, and we kind of keep it moving. But oh Jesus. Yeah, you don't see the street mentors as much. They have mentoring programs. They've locked everything into a system, and people just don't seem like they take the effort, just make the effort to go out there. Now, I'm not discounting athletic coaches and things like that. There's clubs and different things like that. I think those people also serve as some type of mentor, but I'm just speaking for a person or for a youngin' that's just out here. They don't have to be a part of a team. They don't have to be a part of a group, just out here, and they need somebody to talk to other than mom or dad, or mom and dad. For some reason, I just don't see as many interested parties out here. And I know that that's where a lot of people can get, if they're not getting it from their parents, they can get it from those type of individuals to talk about beating the odds. And then it wouldn't seem like such a abnormality to beat the odds. Because Adrian beat the odds, and there's been a ton of people that grew up with humble beginnings and really rough rides and this, that, and the other, and they beat the odds. But the way he spoke it, he's been the same way from the beginning, from gold teeth to a gold jacket. And I don't know why they want that cut off. I really don't. I'm going to chalk it up to white supremacy. Somebody said that's not really what they're trying to advertise. Because see, even though he was who he was, and these youngins are who they are, they don't like him. They just help the NFL make money. They don't like them having all that hair over their head and tying them up in the wraps and all that. They don't like all that. They don't like that. But they keep them happy because they keep their pockets happy. So it is what it is. But yeah, beating the odds is just, for some reason, it's just, what I got to beat the odds for? I can just hang out and just be this way, and I'll get by just fine. But I know that we are going to have to beat the odds. We are going to have to do different things in these coming years, and start getting into the nuts and bolts of real living, because frankly, once we come out of all of what we're into right now, there's going to be industries that won't even exist. And if these are the types of industries that are able to be folded up, a lot of those industries are going to be jobs that Black people had. And we've got to get smart enough and get ahead of the game enough to where we have to know, you've got to start doing something different. If you are straight up entry level, and you're in an industry that possibly could be compromised because of the lack of need for it, you need to be thinking about something else. Don't wait for that business to get ready to close for you to go looking for something else. And you need to be acquiring a skill that you can go to a place of employment for, and they hire you based on that skill, not just because you're the first one with that, job application and resume in. Because as long as you're just going to an application and resume stacking place, they can just wheel you out. Your skills are no different than someone else. Get somewhere where you are viable, where you are a viable component and you can be viable to that company. If you don't, then you're just like everybody else and you're expendable. You are indeed expendable. So yeah, but I see now more people gunning for people who do come into this country, who do seek out an opportunity to beat the odds because they're seeking the American dream. I tie this all in because I don't believe that we're looking for the American dream as individuals anymore. As a collective, I think we are, because we're seeking what's owed. We're seeking repair. We're seeking reparations. So we know that we get reparations. We can live the American dream just like anybody else. It's really tough to live the American dream when you can't live like an American. So there's a problem there. But when people come here and they get access to resources that people who are already in this country don't get, they've beat the odds. And they're given an opportunity to get a head start, literally a head start from someone who's already been here on overcoming future odds. If you resource somebody up and this person over here doesn't have any resources, you're going to allow them to beat the odds for somebody who's been here for, hey, I mean, I know I can date back to 1874. And that was my great-great-grandfather. That was my great-grandfather, excuse me. My great-great-grandfather was enslaved, so we know he was here. He was taken all over the South. So we can get into the 1700s if we need to. But some people that just got here, like 4 years ago, they're doing better than people that have been here for hundreds of years. Solely because the government has made that happen for them. They're a protected people. And this isn't to shit on anybody. Like I said, I'm going to stay less and less disclaimers from this point on, because everybody knows, if they don't know me and know the angle I'm coming from, they can always ask. They can always say something stupid in the chat. But if you know me, then you already know which angle I'm coming from on this. I don't see anything wrong with somebody coming to get their piece of the pie. But I'm sorry, if you're going to give up pie, you got to have two slices. So that's my problem. That's my problem with America, is that I have no problem with them giving out pie. Just don't give my slice away. You know, don't give my slice, and don't ask me to let somebody else have my slice. And essentially, that's the way they're unfolding America right now for people that are coming into this country. Starting out as illegal and getting themselves tight with their paperwork. They just let it happen. And I don't think that's the same. I mean, I know it's not the same for everybody, you know, and I know it's not headline news, but certain immigrants, you don't even see the news stories on them getting deported. You don't see the news. You see the news on one faction, but you don't see, and I'm saying immigrants, okay? People that have come from another territory, attempted to do right, but get denied. Then you get other people, and I don't know if it's because of the dramatic situation from, you know, how they get here and everything, but attention is paid way more to that faction, and it's fucked up because they get the resources, you know, they get the access into America, and then other people are sent back. And I'm not really sure exactly how you say eeny, meeny, miny, mo on this shit. How do you do that? How do you accept one faction of people, but then you are intent on kicking another faction out? They all came the same way. They fled another country, another territory to come here to live a better life. How do you say yes on this person, no on this person, no on this person, yes on this person? How does that shit happen? Corporate America purposely imports immigrants to try to make Black America a permanent underclass. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. One of the things that I do know is that they're trying to bolster the left leaner. What's happening? The left leaners, the left leaners are thinning, and what they're trying to do now is they're trying to bring people in the country and just give them and then be the ones that are giving them the resources. So it's just like, hey, we did this for you, so do this for us when it's time to vote. And they got to get these people tight. They got to get them, to become citizens. So I absolutely believe that they are purposely bringing people in to flatten Blackness. Absolutely. The whole people of color thing, they just want to make it seem like we're all the same, so somebody comes in and they can literally, they're just like me, but they don't want to be just like me anyway. So that's why another thing I don't like the people of color situation, because you're going to try to make somebody who you give access to like me. Well, if there are people of color, a person of color, and I'm a person of color, how come I don't get the same shit that they get? How come I don't get the same protection that they get? That's why I don't want to be that. I can't be that. That's an impersonator. I'm acting like I'm something that I'm not. When they come over here and they're seeking a better life, and you say, hey, we give you these resources, and you like our ideologies, and we like you to vote for us down the line. And I'm sure it doesn't really happen like that, but that's really what it is. It's just bribery. That's all it is. They want to be known as the people who gave all the resources up to so-and-so, and bam, bam, bam. I mean, shit, a person that was literally trying to kick every single immigrant out of the country still got 1/3 of them. He got 1/3 of them. Oh yeah. I will quote Dr. Anderson, or maybe not so much verbatim, but there's a lot of ideologies that I have that come from the incredible Dr. Claude Anderson. A big part of, I think, and people don't give him the credit, a lot of the ideologies for entrepreneurship and even our justice claim that we seek, we owe a lot to him. And some people don't like what he has said about current reparations movements and different things like that, and people that are seeking, they don't like it, so they shun him. But he was on this so long ago, he's actually gotten tired of it now he's gotten pissed. So and he's cantankerous. He's not where he was. What up, fam? He's not where he was mentally with this anymore, because he was literally like, this is what's going to happen, I'm telling you right now. And when they didn't listen, and when he was shunned, it was just not a good thing. I mean, and Dr. Anderson was one of the great minds of our time. He worked right in the White House. It wasn't like he knew some politicians. It wasn't like he met a president or two. He ran fucking presidential campaigns. He was close. He was right there. And for some people, I don't get why we are in a situation where we're in denial that this man, he's an incredible piece of information. We could just pluck his brain, set him up with the attorneys, the accountants, the economists, and all this shit, put this thing together and help us really get this right. I mean, I'm not trying to step over HR 40, because I know HR 40 is their baby and that's what they have on the table. And if we need to rewrite HR 40, then let's get the fucking whiteout out. But when we're going to have judiciary hearings, we need to have people like Dr. Claude Anderson there. We need to have people like Dr. Sandy Darity there. We have to have people like that. And why wouldn't we have people like that? What are we doing? And the people that are on the ground, they need to be at those hearings. But they bring up people, they literally bring up naysayers that look just like us. They find people who don't want us to have reparations and they put them on the mic. They don't find allies. They find people who are against us. I mean, he held some high titles with the government, and for some reason, he's a pariah now. I mean, nobody pulls him off the couch to talk to him, and he has nothing but knowledge and wisdom to give to this cause. I think there's a lot of ego involved. I do believe there's a lot of ego involved, and I don't know if Dr. Claude really has an ego at this point. Like I said, I think he has more of an attitude, and he's pissed off that we went such awry. But then you have the other people who they may want to listen to some of the stuff he says, and they may want to read his books and quote his books, but they really don't want to break it down like he does, you know, because there is no compromise to this shit. Because now they got people that are out here that are supposedly on justice claims where they're like, well, yeah, man, we need to bring immigrants in this, man, and we need to bring so-and-so on it. And that's why the foolishness gets started when they start talking about gay people getting reparations. And the foolishness gets started in talking about other people getting reparations that they've never been marginalized, compromised, ostracized, kept out of doing shit. I mean, you can be discriminated against on some level for something. We're talking about generations of discrimination, generations of brutality, generations of rape and murder, systemic oppression. But they start talking about giving gay people reparations after they made gay marriage legal. Like, oh, since they couldn't get married back in the day, then you need to be like, you know, paying them retroactively. What? That makes no sense. But I'm not here to argue about LGBTQIAP right now, so it is what it is. Yeah, they're potentially setting themselves up, I think, for a huge letdown. I don't believe they're going to get that many people unless they just, you know, say, hey, wherever you stand, put up your right hand. And if you quote this shit and you can become an American citizen, come on down and get your paperwork. I don't believe they're going to get enough people in the country, get them their citizenship, and they be ready to vote lockstep with Democrats come 2024. Definitely not 2022. Probably not 2024. Because there's so much shit. The Democrats aren't even together on all their shit anymore. You know, I mean, you have your far lefts, you've got your centers, you know, you got people like Joe Biden who ran as a Democrat, but Joe Biden is a Republican all day long. I'm not even sure exactly why. You know, he's a centrist at best, but he's truly a conservative. Some of the things that he said, most of the things that he said in his career, I had to correct that. MJ, what's good with you today? I figured you'd still be celebrating that gold medal victory by the Dream Team 2021. They probably could have beat you guys, huh? They probably could have beat you guys. We got the Freedmen on deck, though. I like how he comes in. Freedmen on deck, all caps. I'm here, motherfucker. I like that. Reparations should be for descendants of freedmen. They always try to ride our wave forever. Absolutely. And that, to me, that's that's part of beating the odds, because until we started talking about reparations, until we started talking about, they weren't talking about giving it to gay people before. Until the whole reparations case came into play, they weren't figuring out, we got to give it to so-and-so, and we got to give it to so-and-so. And Joe Biden said, well, we do talk about reparations, we got to talk about giving it to Native Americans. Motherfucker, where have you been? I think the Native Americans have been repaired over and over and over and over and over and over. Native Americans have been repaired like a motherfucker. They really have. You said that was light work. They didn't look good at first, man, but I guess a lot of the players, you know, they were still playing in the playoffs and stuff. So when they got over there, they took care of business. They didn't look real good. I don't know how light. Oh, you saying light work? You said light work. It would have been light work if you played them. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Who would have guarded Durant? Who gonna guard Durant? Yeah. He said it never would have beat the OG Dream Team. All right, I get it. You're just not gonna back off that high horse, I see. You know, I mean, Kareem and then you, and then we're good. So I just know that we have to start to look at what we're up against and know that beating the odds, it's a normal thing for us now, right? I mean, it's just a normal thing. We don't go into anything knowing or thinking that we're on the same plane. Y'all gonna do Durant like y'all did Tony Kukoc. They did Tony Kukoc just dirty, and then they're playing with the motherfucker. Boy, that was hard. They fucked Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc didn't even look like he was a professional basketball player when they decided that they would take care of him. Yeah, sure didn't. Yeah, I think he's a top dog right now. You know, I think he's a top dog right now. Seems like he's getting a little bit more surly as he gets older. He's always kind of had a little attitude, but he seems like he's getting a little surly. I like to have that edge, you know, because he ain't gonna get no bigger. He ain't gonna bulk on him. But it seems like he's getting surly. Yeah. Tell you, boy, they made Kukoc look real. They made Kukoc look like his shoes was too small. I don't know what the fuck happened that day. I'd have loved to have been around that conversation after that in the Bulls locker room. So I thought y'all said hello to each other already. I mean, not that. But yeah. Let's start this back up a little bit. I can hear the sounds and I stop and I'm like, did he ask me to talk with me? No. I'm gonna start closing my door when I record just so I know. So the discussion today has been talking about beating the odds. Being odd, that we're beating the odds. Okay. So I don't know why we're striving for mediocrity in so many things now. We can't. I guess you can. Y'all gonna keep talking to each other and shit. But that's dementia. When you keep saying hello to somebody that you've already talked to and shit, that's called dementia. Hey, how you doing, girl? What's going on? And like 2 minutes later, you're like, what up, fam? Hey, how you doing? All right. Girl, I ain't seen you all day. What the fuck? I figured you was just done talking. So let me catch this first one. So I know we need to create political barriers for nonsense like gay reparative. Absolutely, yes. Yeah. We've been beating the odds. We need reparations just to survive. Absolutely. Now, I'm speaking of past years. So what I'm talking about, brother, is some of these youngins out here, they're really not into beating the odds. they're really not into overcoming the way we were as youngins. Some of them are just good with just being good, just being nothing. And that's a problem. And it's like, who's talking to these youngins? Who's in their face? You can't, obviously everybody can't be in everybody's face, but I mean, why is there so much apathy now out here? And these kids don't want to do shit, you know? I mean, like I said, I push for sports because I know that sports builds character. It's great for, you know, learning how to work as a unit. It's not about creating an athlete or a professional athlete. You know, it's just so far-fetched. Some people think, you know, oh, my kid's going to be this, my kid's going to be that. And I'm like, I wish you well, but don't you realize the odds of your kid going pro are none? You might, but let's just say they're none. So, what you say there, Freedmen Media is here to fight the hearts and minds of the masses to make sons and daughters of freedmen whole again. Absolutely. I like that. I like that. Freedmen Media is here to fight for hearts and minds of the masses to make the sons and daughters of freedmen whole again. I like that. Gonna have me sound like Brother Naeem or be the power. Don't just fight the power, become the power. Have me saying that at the end of my shit. I'm actually gonna have to go back and write that down. I'm literally gonna have that. Well, we don't write no more. I just have to text it to myself because I'd like to memorize that. Freedmen Media is here to fight for hearts and minds of the masses to make the sons and daughters of freedmen whole again. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like that nonsense that John Hope Bryant was talking about, saying that we really didn't have anything when we had Tulsa, Oklahoma, that wasn't a viable community. That really didn't put black folks to work. That really didn't change income infrastructures. I'm like, who the fuck told him this? And not only did we have Tulsa, but we had that type of community in many territories that were densely populated with black people. Many people. And he acts like that the United States freeway system did not decimate most black communities that were profitable black communities, thus throwing us back into the arms of white America, having to buy their goods and utilize all of their services because we didn't have none no more. They were now freeways. He didn't talk about that. Just like he didn't talk about how we got our 40 acres and then how we got our mule because we did so good with the 40 acres. I'm like, what do we do with the 40 acres without the mule? He just left all that shit on the table. I don't know if you heard that, Brother Michael. John Hope Bryant went on Roland Martin, and he did some fool shit. And then talked about how we got 40 acres and how we got the mule and all that. And it was just all false. And Roland didn't have any rebuttal for him. Didn't have any rebuttal for him. But we need to know. We need to know where these youngins are going to get the education, get the wisdom from. I mean, everybody's in an uproar right now about critical race theory. I couldn't care less about that shit. I'm talking about just the basics that we need to have our kids steering towards. You know, stop trying to wait till he's 18, she's 18 and push them all to the plan. Them jobs is about to go bye-bye. Them jobs about to go bye-bye. They all gonna be automated. And if your kid don't know how to program and don't know how to code shit and know how to do things with a computer, besides hold a joystick, you're gonna be asked out on a lot of things. They're gonna want to know your computer knowledge. They're gonna want to know how proficient you are with the computer, with it all opened up and stripped down. Not what you can do on the keys. It used to be, you type so many words per minute. Are you good with Microsoft Office? You good with Microsoft Word? This, that, and the other. No, they don't need to know that shit no more. They need to know, can you code? Can you do this? Can you do that with a computer? I would argue the youth out here is doing the most. It was the youth who took to the streets. George Floyd, salute to them. We need to cultivate the youth and put them in positions to be the power. Okay, I agree with you on some of that, but do you think that we have a large collective of youngins that are out here doing it. I mean, most of the people I saw during the George Floyd protests were not us. Let's be real. Let's be real on that. Most of the people during the George Floyd protests were not us. I mean, most of the BLMers are not us. Most definitely. I appreciate that. But I mean, I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I just don't see us collectively. Now, in some areas, I believe that there are people that are more progressive. And we're speaking of the youngins. I'm not speaking about people, that are our age and our demographic. I'm talking about the youngins. Do you know many youngins that are politically minded? There's a lot of most youngins out here. You could ask them who the mayor of their town is, and they probably couldn't tell you. Most youngins would not know the mayor of their town unless it's a huge town and he's on the news or she's on the news all the time. People probably know. If you're in Chicago, you know who the mayor of Chicago is. Everybody knows that. If you're in Detroit, everybody knows who the mayor of Detroit is. You're always gonna know who the mayor of Detroit is. He's always in some shit, usually. Most definitely. You can come on the cast. We can talk about where it came from. I bet you we can make a whole cast of that. Dope. I can sit and I can memorize this. So MJ, my cousin, just literally screenshotted what you put up, and now I can go back and I can memorize it. Freedmen Media is here to fight for hearts and minds of the masses to make sons and daughters of freedmen whole again. Freedmen Media is here to fight for the masses, for the hearts and masses of people to make. Freedmen Media is here to fight for hearts and minds of the man. Oh, y'all have it bound by tomorrow. Thanks, Kimmy. Appreciate you, sweetie. So I'm talking about we be working together. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Free, Kimmy, y'all be doing stuff in the chat. MJ comes across with it. You been holding on to that, bro? Were you holding on to that? I mean, have you held on to that for a while, or did you just make that up? Because it was like, it just hit today, baby. Maybe you've been sitting on it for a minute. Maybe not majority, no, but for the yeah. I think so. I look. So I don't like getting into this. Because I get pissed. But I believe we are gaining some ground. I just believe that we had such a serious hiccup around that election period. And we lost ground. We lost our footing, and we weren't collected politically. So when shit started getting stirred around, we were, it's like we fell off the raft in white water rafting and shit. And we were just trying to catch a rock. I think a lot of motherfuckers were really prepared for Trump to win again. And then when Joe won, and it was like, oh, okay, so he won, but he already said he ain't gonna do shit for us. Kamala said she ain't gonna do shit for us. It was like, where are we at now? So politically, I don't think we were ready. I don't think we had our footing. That's right. As long as a small quality of youth members are here to represent for the collective. Yes. We don't need, here's the thing. I'm not saying anything bad about Million Man March. Okay, so hopefully this is not taken negatively. Let me go ahead and just turn this down a bit. There's nothing wrong with the Million Man March. Nothing. Nothing wrong with the Million Man March. But out of the Million Man March came what? I mean, there was unity. There was unity. And we built unity on that day. I'm sure over that weekend when brothers came in and broke bread, and you know, they loved on one another, and they had a day of atonement. But what came after it? What came after it? What really happened after the Million Man March? I mean, they ain't wanted Brother Farrakhan back in Washington since. You know, Barack Obama didn't have him over for dinner. Appreciate you, brother. There is, to me, outside of the unity, outside of the ability to do so, I didn't see where it pushed the needle. Now, obviously, I didn't talk about this in 1995, 2005, 2015, but now I look at a lot of symbolic things and I'm just like, okay. Although I think it was a great feat to get that many brothers there. And from what I heard, for the people that I know that went, they said it was one of the craziest things they'd ever seen. All these brothers getting along, you know, and just being who they were. Unfortunately, brother, that's what it did give us. You know, it gave us lights, camera, but not much action. We had lights, we had camera. We didn't have much action. And I don't truly believe it was a money grab for anybody in particular. There wasn't a lot of money to be made on that, right? But you take it from what King did in 63 to what Brother Farrakhan did in 95. You're just like, what we get out of it? What happened? You know, when the lights cut out, when the cameras were off and the brothers were walking away, you know, and all the big gulp cups and empty bottles of water and all that shit were just strode all over the Capitol. Hopefully they threw the shit away, but you know there was a lot of debris and trash. It is all the time. Anyways, I'm not saying that black people litter, because we're not the biggest litterers. Tell you that right now. We can't be the biggest anything. We're only 14% of the population, but for some reason we always get the detriment. White people litter way more than black people. I can tell you. I count when I see white people litter to black people littering. Because black people, we ain't trying to get that ticket. $300 for some fucking littering. And we ain't trying to get that. Was that the dark brother? Because I get their names mixed up all the time. Was he the dark one? The dark bald-headed one? Dr. Khalid. So it's Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Okay. I thought Khalid Muhammad. I thought his name was Khalid. His name was Khalid? I thought his name was Khalid. I think he might have been right the first time, bro. Maybe his name was Khalid, but maybe, you know. I wasn't trying to clown you. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know. So it was Khalid. All right. Yeah. I seen that brother on a couple talk shows. And he looked like he had every white person in that crowd ready to just kill him. He was so, I wouldn't say vicious. I wouldn't say vicious because he didn't come off as vicious. But where Brother Farrakhan has the charisma, you know, even Malcolm had the charisma, but he spat nails too. And Farrakhan spits nails, of course. But you said, what did Swollen Ball Martin say? He didn't say anything. I was speaking about John Hope Bryant, him being on there. I don't have a whole lot to say about Roland right now because Roland he's on some different shit right now. I think Roland sees some shit that he don't want to see. Because if they start to lose the grasp on this shit on the Democratic side, Roland goes underground again. I mean, he already got knocked off TV onto the internet. Where's he gonna go from now? Roland should be really trying to get him like a radio show and shit too. Oh, for real? Okay. You guys need help? That one's only 2-3 minutes away? Okay. All right, I'll be listening for you when you come back. All right. Oh yeah, it was John Hope Bryant. You didn't hear about that? John Hope Bryant said some shit that was so factually untrue, and you really got to go back and listen to the whole interview. I don't watch a lot of the cast anymore. I'm keep calling him Martin. Roland has just gotten to the point where he's, for what all these guys started out as, they're not anymore. You know, I mean, I was never really up on Boyce and shit, but now Boyce is like this celebrity troller. He talks very little about business and shit. I do watch some of the segments when he has Dr. Claude on because I enjoy listening to Dr. Claude. I don't particularly enjoy listening to Dr. Claude with Boyce because I think Boyce is using him, you know, for clout. But yeah, he didn't challenge. So you didn't hear the whole thing with oh boy. You didn't hear it with John Hope Bryant. Let me see if I can bring that shit up. I might be able to bring that up. It's just audio. Let me see if I can bring this up. When you listen to it, bro, you're just like, really? He said that dumb shit? I mean, and then Roland, you know, because all I did was his part. I just did his little clip. And Roland didn't give him any type of rebuttal. So that was a problem. I felt like he should have said something. You know, I felt like he should have, said something. And he didn't. So that made, to me, oh, you know what? I can do this. Hold on one second. Did you send me a message, bro, about streaming? Because I just got that. It literally just came across my inbox. Hey, let me know when you're about to stream. So I don't know when you sent that, but I literally just got it. When that chime came through, if you heard that chime, came through at 6:13. Hey, let me know when you're about to stream. Appreciate it. But yeah, check this shit out. Let me see if I can get to it. Hold on one second. Yeah, here we go. Hold on one sec. Yeah. Okay. Here, listen to this shit.
So financial literacy is the one thing, Roland, we were denied. As you well know, you're a historian yourself. Freedmen's Bank, March 3rd, 1865, after the Civil War, we were given 40 acres, which was a pilot program, Field Action 15. Then we worked that so hard, we were given a mule, February 1865. The next month, Lincoln creates a bank called the Freedmen's Bank to domicile our savings, teach us about money. So Abraham Lincoln, on the occasion of our being freed from enslavement, thought the most important thing he could do was to teach us about the free enterprise system and capitalism and ownership. And Lincoln was killed the next month. Roland, Frederick Douglass thought this was so important. In order to save the bank, he put $10,000 of his own money in the bank in 1865 to try to save it and try to run the bank. Unfortunately, it was gamed and it closed in 1874. It's not like we got the memo on money and free enterprise and screwed it up. We never got the memo. So it's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us. It's what we think we know. It's not like somebody gave us a memo on free enterprise and we messed it up. We keep talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, as if it is really Wall Street. No, it didn't produce capital. It didn't issue debt. They didn't provide venture capital like Will Smith and Jay-Z are doing right now. There's no banking infrastructure. There was no systemic uplift of tens of thousands of jobs. It was a wonderful example of a normal community where you have homeowners and small business owners and entrepreneurs. It was just normal. But we want to call it Black Wall Street. This is how messed up our situation is. That should have been the case in every community in America.
And see, John Hope Bryant and I share the same birthday. We share the same birthday. So it just lets you know that two people can be born on the same exact day and be totally on opposite ends of the spectrum. He said we got 40 acres and we did so good with that, we got a mule. When? What part of history did that come out of? We got the 40 acres and then we did so good with it, they gave us the mule too? He said that shit and Roland did not oppose it. Never had a rebuttal for it. As a journalist, you allow someone to come on and spew negative shit. But see, the whole thing was about Will Smith and Jay-Z and this rent-to-own thing. And I guess he does somewhat that same thing with his company. So he was like, well, yeah, they should have went with my program. But, I see why they went with their program because they're notable and this, that, and the other. But he was trying to talk down people who said bad things about the program. But fact is, a lot of people have gotten fucked over in rent-to-own programs, and that's why they're leery of it. They don't give a fuck whether it's Jay-Z, Will Smith, or anybody. It could be Biggie and Tupac renting to own in houses right now. Nobody gives a fuck. It's not generally an advantageous situation for us. For us. Oh, he's definitely an op. He's definitely an op. John Hope Bryant speaks against Black America regularly. But for him to speak about the history that way, Tulsa wasn't shit. If Tulsa wasn't shit, other people from other Black communities wouldn't have been sending Tulsa money so they could get back up and running again because they were a fucking blueprint for people. And it was so viable, such a viable part of Black America. People needed to get that shit back up and getting because they had money rolling between them communities. What he should talk about is why Tulsa didn't survive the second time around. He needs to talk about the integration issue. We did all that because they didn't want us to be a part of their shit. And then once we could be a part of their shit, then we stopped patronizing our own shit. He don't talk about that. Roland don't talk about that. I mean, I'm ashamed that he's an Aquarius. That's not an Aquarius spirit. He spat straight lies. And he's probably at 500,000 viewers and shit views now, just with that fucking stream. I'm sitting over here with 40 views and shit, and I ain't lying about shit. We wouldn't even go to our own shit, and we had already had it. We knew it was good. It had been good, but no, now that we can go over here and get a cheeseburger, we ain't going to get a cheeseburger over here at home. We're going to go across town. We're going to spend money on gas to go get a cheeseburger because they said we can eat cheeseburgers over there at the white establishment now. Had a movie theater right there on Greenwood. Nah, we don't go to this movie theater. We're going to go to that new movie theater over there where they only let you sit in the balcony and shit. Remember, they used to make Black people just sit in the balcony at a movie theater and shit. If a motherfucker caught on fire, your ass was dead. We couldn't sit in the back. We sat in the balcony. Had our own movie theater where we could have sat anywhere. We chose to go to the white movie theater. Killed Tulsa. So I don't want to hear shit about that. Oh boy. He's another beaut. Can I get that one there? We must just go and listen to some more fuckery before we get up out of here. But beating the odds, let's see if it actually comes through. Yeah, it came through. Beating the odds is huge for me. It is. It's huge for me. It's not odd for me, but it's huge for me. I truly want to instill it in my grandchildren. My granddaughter, she don't know nothing right now. She just go. My grandson, he's old enough now where he's got a few inhibited ways. We're gonna break him of all that, baby. If you believe you can run through that wall, then you're gonna run through that wall. We're not gonna cast any doubt. We don't do doubt over here. No doubt over here. We're not doubters. But we got to beat the odds. But to beat the odds, we got to try. We got to try. That's horrible. Yeah. I mean, he didn't even have to lie. He could have just told the truth and brought something up out of it. I'm telling you, I am not as upset with John Hopeless Bryant as I am with Rowley. Rowley was supposed to stomp that mud hole in his ass with the history, and he chose not to. He chose to stand back and stand by. I didn't get it. I'm like, Roland, stop him now. He just said we got 40 acres. He just said we got a mule. We didn't get none of that shit. He let him go, and he let him go all the way into Tulsa. And then if Roland don't like you, wait a minute. No, he didn't do none of that because he likes John. He likes John. No, he didn't say shit to John. Stop asking stupid questions, Free. If Tulsa wasn't shit, why they burn it out? They don't burn shit out that they don't want to make money off of. They only burn shit out that they need money from. Or if you making money, they cut your money, so you got to go spend your money where their money is. All right, bro. I mean, Tulsa was a huge threat. You take that blueprint and start putting that blueprint all over the country, they'd be like, oh shit. They buying less and less of our shit and buying more and more of their shit. You ain't gotta tell me, bro. I know. Fuck him. I'm telling you, he wasn't the problem. We already know he's an op. Like we know Larry Elder's an op. Like we know Herschel Walker's an op. Like we know Vernon Jones is an op. Like we know Burgess Owens is an op. We know all them cats is ops. But Roland Martin wears a motherfucking reparation shirt at least once a week. If he's not wearing a dashiki. And he sat there and let him say that punk shit. That was some bullshit, dog. It was some bullshit. He should have checked him on that. He's checked other people when their history's been off. Oh, your mic's getting cut, dude. Your mic's getting cut, and then here comes Dr. Greg Carr, and then here comes Nisi, and then da-da-dee-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I get it. I got a newfound respect for Nisi, though. I didn't realize Nisi was a foul mouth. I listened to a couple of her videos. She's funny as fuck. Not because she's foul mouth, but because she's intelligent and she knows how to use the profanity good. I like that shit. It says swollen ball. I try not to get into the name calling and shit because I'm bad with it. And I just won't stop. So I try not to get into the name calling, so I just let it go. But y'all be killing me when y'all say the shit. When y'all say different names and stuff, y'all be having me laughing. I try not to get into it. You know. But let me let you hear this, because I ran this video. MJ, yeah, we friends on Facebook, I think, too. I ran this video, and I tried to tell folks, man. I tried to tell folks last year, around this time. It was an anniversary, I believe, video. I tried to tell folks, but nobody wanted to listen to me. when I was telling him about, and I still don't believe Joe Biden's going to run the gamut. I believe Joe Biden's done after this year. Kamala's going to be seated as president in 2022. I'm sticking to my guns. I believe Kamala Imhoff will be president of the United States. I don't want her taking Donald Harris's name into the Oval Office because she don't salute that brother. She don't claim his name except by name only. I mean, you talking about claiming his name. She don't claim Jamaican. She says she's Brahmin Indian. Now she's Southeast Asian and one of the most influential in the world. So I don't want her taking Harris into the Oval Office. She needs to take Imhoff into the office. Be President Imhoff. We won't be mad at her. She don't need to be Harris. I don't need a Harris in the Oval Office if they're not going to be a Harris. We already had an Obama in the office and he didn't do shit for us. Now we're going to get a Harris. We're going to get a true black name. We're going to get a real black name, Harris. And not do shit for us? No, we don't need that. It was embarrassing enough to have a Barack Obama in there and not do shit for us. This would be doubly embarrassing. And her name is Kamala, but we was calling her Kamala, or Kamala, sorry. I'll call her name, same name twice. Kamala. We was calling her that. Kamala Harris, she was answering to that shit. But when she got elevated, it's Kamala. It's Kamala. You was answering to Kamala, bitch, when you was out here asking for donations. You was Kamala at home, and you was Kamala Harris out here. Yeah, when you was dancing around with downtown Willie Brown, you was, yeah, I don't know what your name was. I don't know what he called you then. The fuck is this, man? Some shit just blew up on my screen and shit. It's the weather. Fuck Meghan McCain. I don't see that dumb bitch. Get that shit off my screen, man. I don't like these new apps and shit. I don't like these new apps. They pop up shit on your computer and shit. All right, so check this shit out, and I'm about to get up out of here. But brother, this is some of the funny shit. God damn. Oh, it was funny. Okay, so what do I got to get to? Okay, so I got to get to Facebook. No, I'm gonna do it right from here. I'm gonna do the audio right from here. Cut that. Cut the audio. I'm getting better with this shit. Let's give me some time. Don't be all up on my shit. All right. Listen to this, and then we're going to close out.
Mr. Vice President, your opponent in this election, President Trump, has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you've been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested in effect because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive?
No, I haven't taken the test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test whether you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think? Or are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your state an issue for voters?
Fuck this, man. I'm trying to play this shit on the camera.
You can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There can be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, you know, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
We know who the fuck you are.
All right, man. I'm going to play this shit. I'm actually going to play it so you can see the video because it's actually funnier watching the video. Just let me get the screen share up. Shit. Hold on a second. All right. This one right here. I'm just clowning now, but I have to do this. I have to do this. All right. As a matter of fact, let me just make sure the audio's you're gonna be able to catch the audio on this shit. Oh, this is hilarious. Just fucking hilarious. Okay. All right. Wrong fucking one. Okay, so I'll do it that way. Okay.
Mr. Vice President, your opponent in this election, President Trump, has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you've been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested, in effect, because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive?
No, I haven't taken the test. Why the hell would I take a test?
Am I not showing the right one?
That's like saying you, before you got this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Or are you a
What do you say to President Trump,
hold on a second,
who brags about his test and
I shared the wrong
thing, an issue for voters?
Hold on. I'm doing this shit again because it's just hilarious. It's just fucking hilarious. Bam. Audio on. I don't know why this shit tickles me so much. Let's go on back. We're going to go on back. There we go. Can y'all see that shit now? All right. Let's do it.
Mr. Vice President, your opponent in this election, President Trump, has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you've been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested, in effect, because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive?
No, I haven't taken the test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Or are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me. But I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There can be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, you know, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical, mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
We know who the fuck you are.
See, that right there, that right there is just one of those things. And I told people, the guy is not mentally fit to be president. He's not. He's not. But if he was the best there was, we are fucked up out here. If Joe Biden was the best we had, this is August of last year. August, man. We didn't have a better presidential candidate than that. I mean, I think by then he was the guy that gave it all up. I think Jimmy had served the fish by then, and he had gave it all up. He said, "I got your backs. I got your backs, blacks." And I just truly believe that, once Jimmy fed them fish and biscuits and gave them a whole bunch of Kool-Aid and it swole up in their stomach, they just rolled over and said, "We got you, Joe. We got you, Joe. We don't come down here for this fish fry for nothing." Fish and biscuits and Biden. That's what it was. The back of his foot. Shit. That motherfucker said, "I got your back. You pulled me off the mat when I was damn near dead." And he turned around and did some shit for somebody else the next day. I thought he was going to do some shit for black people, like literally the first day he started signing up shit. And then the first day, the second day, okay, he got his pen in his hand. "Oh, that's not for you either." Oh, okay. It's like, what the fuck? You just said you got our back. And there still hasn't been legislation. Not exclusively. I know some people will be like, "Man, whether he does do some stuff, and it affects black people." Okay, I get you. But we haven't had a bill that said for African Americans, because we know that's what they're going to put. If it's going to be our bill, because that's what they did for Asians. They did Asians, Americans, Pacific Islanders, specifics. They spoke in specificity with them. So we want to have somebody speak in specificity with us. Yeah. It will forever go down to me as the pandemic election. I don't believe he's in there without the pandemic. I don't. I think if it was just straight up, knuckle up voting and shit, yeah. I think we'd still be in the midst of the Trump era. It's unfortunate, but he likes to talk about he got the most votes of any president ever. He likes to talk about that. What he needs to talk about is he did get the most votes ever. And the person that he beat got the most votes before that election of anybody ever. Trump got more votes than Barack Obama did either time. And because of the early and the mail-in and all that other shit, Biden was able to get that going because Trump told his people don't do all that shit. Don't be sending no shit in. Da-da-da. Yeah. He might have had a shot if he told his people to do that shit. Who knows? I haven't seen anybody in a government, I'm sorry, in a governor office or even on the senator level that I would consider. Probably a young John Conyers. I'd say a young John Conyers. I would have liked to have seen, truthfully, I would have liked to have seen Harold Washington. I think Harold Washington was unapologetically black. I would have liked to have seen it. Even though Jesse was Jesse, I still don't think that Jesse would have been our guy. I think he'd have did some shit for black people. He'd have ran his ass up out of Chicago. But I think Jesse had been compromised by then. So even though he was Jesse and he was still keep hope alive, I think Jesse was still compromised. I think him and Andrew Young and all them cats, they took the bag. you know. No, Trump didn't have more votes than Biden. Trump had more votes than Obama ever had. And Obama had more votes than anybody prior to the election. You feel me? Obama had the most votes ever. Trump had more votes than Obama, but it took Biden's votes to beat Trump. So, yeah, they essentially now have more votes than Obama ever got. And don't nobody like them nearly as much as they like light-skinned Kenyan man. No. Trump didn't have more votes than Biden. I'm not here. Don't get me on that shit, boy. My screen will get the skipping in this bitch. I started there. Misinformation. They come for a motherfucker with 400 YouTube subscribers hard. No, he had more votes than Obama. I think Obama had something like 68 million, something like that. That was somewhere in that neighborhood. Trump had 75. He had 75 million. Motherfucking 20% of the country. He had 20% of the country. And where the fuck is everybody, man? If he had 75 million and Biden had 82 million, that's only motherfucking 157 million. We supposed to have 380 million motherfuckers in this bitch. Where the fuck is everybody? How come nobody's voting? How come we don't talk about that shit? How come nobody ever talks about that? You know, my brother from New Era got on and he was talking about how there was only 70,000 people that voted last week in the primary. 70,000. You hear me? 70,000. Detroit has 700,000 in it. Give or take 25, 30,000, I think he said. It's about let's say 670. That's a low number. 670. They have 670,000 people in the city of Detroit and only 70,000 people voted. And that's not 70,000 black people. That's 70,000 total. So 10% of the population in Detroit voted in the primary. You understand? Oh, man. People love a writer. That's what I'm saying. I don't see how we haven't had an outright writer take us to the White House. Obama got in there by his skin color. I get it. He got in there by his skin color. But why can't we get somebody with that skin color to be talking right? Obama was talking white. He talked good to us. He didn't talk right. He talked good. He a good talker. He talked good. I heard that a lot. Like, he wasn't supposed to talk good. What's the motherfucker supposed to get up there and do when he fucking running for president? That's how you think he gonna get fucking elected? Talking like mushmouth on fucking Cosby Kids? What? He talk good. He's supposed to talk good. He's supposed to talk good. He's fucking trying to be president. Shit. Or when he was president. Man, Obama, man, he talked good. Then you get in the midst of the whole motherfucking, wannabe politicals. And you're like, yeah, he's a good orator. Oh, what's that mean, man? Gay shit? What the fuck's wrong with you? I had that a couple times, dude. Yeah, he's a good orator. What? Oral? What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay. Just smart, dumb motherfuckers. Smart, dumb motherfuckers. So I think I'm going to get up out of here. I don't know how I did 2 hours. This is getting a little bit too easy to just keep going. You don't help, Michael Jordan. You keep me going. You and Free. Today we had, and then we had somebody early on. I don't know. I forgot who that was. Oh, they were from the UK. What up, UK? Peace to the UK. Came with some facts. Was talking Dr. Claude and shit. Yeah. That's why I said he talked good to us. He just didn't talk for us. So I get it. See, that's the thing. We voted for him twice. Shame on you. Do it again. Shame on me. We can't always blame that motherfucker. We got to blame ourselves too. I appreciate you. I will definitely, you know what? Free, we about to get that group thing that we were talking about, letting people know when we're going up. We already got the select people that we need to know, when we're going up. We're going to start doing that. We're going to build that out. And I'm not real big like on group text and stuff like that, but I'm going to start doing it like on Facebook because I'm actually going to build a Freedmen Media page. I'm going to do a Freedmen Media page, and I would ask that y'all subscribe to that, because if you're going to be on the book, then you can look at stuff like that and then have people be able to add content to that Freedmen Media page. And then I'll put all the streams up. I'll just have all the streams go through there versus going through my personal profile. I'm working on all that, man. I'm working on all that just because, I fucking need to, man. I got some other shit that I got to get at. So, shit's popping, man. Shit's popping. It's hard to talk about. Obama played the political game. He played the game well while playing us at the same time. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That brother got us. That brother got us. He got us. I ain't gonna even lie. He got us. But that's all right. That's why I'm here. Freedmen Media. And Freedmen Media is about to grow. I'm actually about to get someone that wants to do a cast and want to see if they want to do something on a regular. And then I'm about to bounce to another studio to be able to do like Sunday service and special interviews and things like that. It's all in the works. So, I'll start dropping some shots so y'all can start to see. Because I don't want y'all to be like, oh, he lying and shit, I want to actually show the growth. And why sometimes I'd be like, oh man, 5 videos a day, and then one day, 1 video a day, or if any. I rarely go when I don't need to do anything, but just happenings, bigger things are happening. So just trying to keep it all together, keep sane, and keep healthy, and all that shit. So, MJ, I appreciate you. Free, you already know that I appreciate you. I was saying I appreciate MJ for Freedmen Media is here to fight for hearts and minds of the masses to make the sons and daughters of freedmen whole again. I like that. That's going to become a staple. Freedmen Media is here to fight for, should I say for hearts and minds or for the hearts and minds? Should I add a the on that? For the hearts and minds of the masses to make the sons and daughters of freedmen whole again. So we got to decide on we're going to keep for hearts or for the hearts. Can't hate the player, hate the game. Absolutely. We do. Dude, we vote for him twice. He got us the first time for the, I got you. I'm adding the. It's felt natural to say for the, but you didn't put it in there, so I figured that might have just been the way you wanted it said. I don't mess with anybody's scribes. If that's the way you wanted it said, that's the way I was gonna spit it. When I used to have to do commercials, I would let them know, like, this doesn't really sound right. Well, that's what we want, okay? Because I already got their check in my pocket, so they weren't gonna get the check back because I'm already down there. So whether I record it your way or my way, I got paid. I don't give a fuck. So most definitely that was a typo. Oh, no issue. Yeah, I got you. But y'all be good out here. And I'll try to get back on here tonight. And if I do, I'll notify my core group. all four of y'all. I'm going to do the brother man, all four of y'all. And we'll go from there. But y'all be safe. Stay cool. It's hot as fuck outside. I can actually feel it being hot because the air conditioner keeps popping on. When this motherfucker starts getting on real, I already know it's hot. So when you're getting back on, it'll be a couple hours. I might do a little short something. I got to figure out how I do it. If I do it through, do you catch me when I go through HAPS? Because it goes through YouTube, but I don't know how you get the notification. Either way, I'll if I go through HAPS, because I might do it like an on location something, like a little short something, just to kind of show a little preview of what we got popping. So, I'll let you know. Because I'm about to call and see if they're gonna still be out there, and if they're gonna be out there, I might bounce out there. All right, y'all be good. One love.